Dikduk U'Masoret HaMekara, Parashat Devarim 3. This is based on Perek Aleph Pasuk Yud Gimel, which says the following: Havu lachem anashim hachamim v'onim v'yidurim l'shiftechem v'asimem berashechem. The English is basically, get yourself wise, understanding men of renown from your tribes, and I will appoint them as your heads. The emphasis here on the whole midrash is based on the word va'asimem. Va'asimem, according to Rashi, brings the midrash both in the Sifrei and also written in Midrash Rabbah. Va'asimem, Rashi says, based on those midrashim, haser yod. There's no yod in the word va'asimem. Lamad, to teach us, she'ashmotehem she'Yisrael תלויים בראשי דייניהם, שהיה להם למחות ולכוון אותם לדרך הישרה. Why is there's no yod there? Because the word va'asimem actually can be read like ve'ashemam. I will fault them. I will have them faulted for what they've done. The leaders, if they don't correct the people when they do wrong, then the mistake of the people falls on the leaders. So va'ashimem l'siftechem, it says va'ashemam. The ashma, the fault of the people, ends up being on the heads of the leaders. There's another place in the Gemara where they based another midrash on that same idea, but we won't go into that now. But the Menhachai brings down the following. He says, of course, the midrash has no yod, and Rashi brings that down, But we see, for example, he brings a case where the Menhachai writes, but the Rama, Rabbi Meir HaLevi, Abul Afia, one of the big Rishonim, who was also Baal Masoret, he writes the following. He says, he says, what I saw, every one of the Nushaot, or the Gisaot of the Torah had a yod in there. It wasn't without a yod. But yet the Gemara, the Midrash in the Gemara, which Rashi brings down, the Midrash in the Sifrei and the Midrash Rabbah has it without a yod. But the Rama says, when Hachai quotes him, he says, there's a yod. How come everybody seemed to agree? And Hachmei Borgosa, in other words, even the Hachamim in Spain, in his area, he says, yeah, that they saw that the Rama actually wrote that, and that's the correct way. You have to have a yod. The Rabbeinu Bachya, he gets into this too. He says, "Va'asimem berashechem ve'ashemam ketiv, va'ashemem ketiv." In other words, that I will fault the leaders. Kelomar she'ashmotehem shel Yisrael teluim berashei shoftehem. He says because lo mihu. He brings down the exact midrash in the Sifrei and the Midrash Rabbah that Rashi brings down. Rashi, same one. That the leaders are faulted, the ashma, the fault is on them because they don't correct the public when they were doing wrong. Now he adds one thing important there. He says, "Af al pi shebesefarim shelanu katuv beyod." He said the Rabbeinu Bachya writes, even though we know in our books, in our Torah that we see, and in the Gesaot of the Tanakh that are written there too, he said every one of them has a yod, the way the Ramah wrote it. So they followed the Baalei HaMasoret, inserted a yod, even though the Midrash, according to the Sifrei and the Sifrei and also the Midrash Rabbah, has no yod. But apparently the Baalei HaMasoret, which in Spain they accepted this, every Torah had a yod in there. Now, I just want to mention one thing. There are many cases which are quoted in the Gemara Bavli, actually not so much in the Gemara itself, there's one or two cases, but the Masoret HaShas, Gilayon HaShas, on Shabbat, Nun He Ayin Bet, Amud Bet, Gilayon HaShas in Masechet Shabbat, Daf Nun He Amud Bet, he brings down a list of all the places in the Gemara Bavli where there's a difference between the way the Gemara reads a word in the Tanakh, this is not just the Torah, and what the Baalei HaMasoret have accepted, which we now accept. So there's a distinction, and he brings down loads of examples where these two things are different. This is just one of them. And there are others that are listed, all listed by, in the Gilayon HaShas over there. If If you ever get a chance to look at it, it's very instructive. Shabbat, it's on Daf Shabbat, Daf Nun He, Amud Bet. But it's not an uncommon thing that the Midrashim, including the Gemara, what's in the Agadah and the Midrash, in the Gemara, as well as the Midrashim. Here we have the Sifrei and the Midrash Rabbah have one particular Girsah, and yet the Baalei HaMasoret have a different Girsah, which is the one we accept and the one we read up from our Sefer Torah today.